You're listening to the Self-Made is a Myth, Make a Difference Together show with your host, Coach Tim Campsall, where we talk with successful business owners to hear the stories of their journeys in building their successful businesses. And more importantly, we recognize the folks who help them excel because we know that achieving business success is not something we can do on our own.
Hello, everyone. This is Coach Tim Campsall, and I'm excited to have a fellow business owner from Indiana with us today. Something unique about my guest is that he's an international fashion designer who lives in Indiana. A little different. So in his downtime, which he says he doesn't really have downtime because he spends it all with his two active young sons. And he's most proud of working with Noah Lyles, who is a current gold medalist, along with serving his community. It's my pleasure to welcome Bernie to the show today. Hi, Bernie.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone.
Well, hey, let's start with having you introduce yourself. Tell us your full name and a little bit of your personal story, like where you were born, where you live, about your family and hobbies.
Definitely. My name is Berny Martin. I was born on the island of Haiti. However, my parents were quite a diverse crowd as well. My parents are also Cuban and Haitians. So I grew up speaking up to 5 languages in a house.
Wow.
And grew up in Brooklyn, moved to Brooklyn when I was about a young teenager, and did that and moved to Indiana to go to school at Purdue University. And from there, and that's when I became a Hoosier. And that's where I met my wife. I got married, and now have 2 boys that have been raised here in southern Indiana. Love it, and at the same time travel quite a bit to satisfy my work career as a fashion designer.
Yes, because Indiana is not necessarily the fashion hub of the world, is it?
Yeah, it's still a work in progress, and oftentimes I had to explain myself a lot when I'm meeting client. They always expecting me to be either in New York or LA
Sure.
or Florida. Although we do have a showroom in New York and in
Wonderful.
Miami, so clients always find it interesting to see the fact that I am in southern Indiana, not just Indianapolis, southern Indiana.
Yes. Bernie, what's a funny story that your family likes to tell about you that you'd be willing to share with us today?
Wow, that's a good one. I guess at a very young age, not that I knew I was a fashion designer by anything like that, but they knew that I used to pick on my clothes by making sure that everything was neat and coordinated or color coordinated, or else Bernie Martin would not go anywhere. So, so that was my dad making fun of me,
Yeah.
and make me feel embarrassed in some. Yeah. But not that I knew I was anywhere near or close to become a fashion designer in the future.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. So, hey, tell us, how did the business come about, and at what point did you have the confidence you could run your own business?
Oh, wow. How the business came about, I will say a list of failures and mistakes, and travel, a lot of travels, because um I am I studied computer science, computer technology at Purdue, and graduated, was part of the corporate world.
Mhm.
And one thing I noticed was, of course, the way people dresses, and I always said to myself, there had to be a better way, especially here in Indiana. Everything was like so uniform, like and wanted to change the dynamic a little bit. And upon my last assignment as a networking engineer I used to work for maintaining network, you
Okay.
know, network maintenance. That's what it was. And and I said, why not give it a shot? And I went downtown, registered my company, and the next thing you know, everything was born and created the logo. And from there it was a list of obstacles because where I was living,
Mhm.
at the time, being in Indiana, as earlier mentioned, we did not have a lot of access to a lot of things that are considered part of the fashion mecca,
Right.
fabric, but there's not as much as of a diverse pool of create to become a part of your imagination as a fashion designer.
Right.
So with that being said, I moved to New York to go to school at FIT shortly, just for a semester, just to test it out what it was like, and I literally fell in love with everything about it. And then from there, I started traveling the world, meaning all kind of manufacturing plants and accesses to a lot of different things,
Mhm.
fabric manufacturers, you name it. Um, and that's how, of course, throughout the whole process, there was a lot of mistakes, a lot of things to learn, because those things are not in the books.
Right.
They certainly not in the books. You're gonna have to go through them and learn them,
Yeah.
unless you have the internship through a company, which never happened for me.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So tell us more about the company. What's the name? What do you guys do? How do you help people?
Yeah. So the name of the company is registered under Catou. It's pretty much the name of my grandmother. It's a nickname that everybody used to call her in the neighborhood. I pass on the legacy because she raised me. She gave me love. She made me who I am today in appreciating nature and art. She was always that person encouraging me to become that person. And upon her creating that brand, I really wanted to honor her name. And that's all the name in. It doesn't have any other significance or anything like that. So her name was Catherine. Catherine is short for Catou. That's it.
Okay.
From there, how do we help people? Wow, that has been back to corporate world, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So I take it upon myself. I take it personally when I meet my client. I'm gonna make you look good. You know? Not that, they're not looking good, but I really do feel that there's certain type of vibrancy when you walk in a room. You have that nanoseconds, just like Noah just win the race with those nanoseconds to really click into your, whether if it is coworker, your boardroom, wherever you are, to click and engage with with the people that are in the room, or the audience, or your family, and so. And the way you do that primarily is the way you dress, and and we at Catou we take that upon ourselves to make a person to look their best at every moment that they are in their lifestyle. It's like playing a movie in their head.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm playing this character today. I'm Josie from the block, or I am this from, you know, and that's what we do. That's what we do.
I love
Yeah.
it. That's awesome. Bernie, share a story where someone pushed you or inspired you that you could do it, even though maybe you didn't think that you could, and the impact that person had.
Absolutely. So those are my executive clients. He came to me about 6 years ago, you know. No, actually 9 years ago. I'm sorry, 9 years ago. And his whole ambition was to become the next uh, 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 tycoon in the way he looks in his profile. He not that he didn't like the way he looked, but he thought he could do better,
Mm.
you know. And the whole time we were challenged. The whole time for about 2 years, we kept trying different looks for him. And I think the last 5 years we finally nailed it, you
Mm.
know. And now he, matter of fact, he just texted me this morning and he's like, hey, I'm in such and such city. This is the best I ever felt in my life.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's the jacket we created for him. So every year we change his wardrobe, and the way that works, Tim, is that we don't want our clients to think about the way they dress. It's becoming uniform with the way they approach their lifestyle. You
Mm.
know, they can just walk into their closet, put something on, and they know for a fact they're gonna become the next executive CEO or whatever that they have projected in their mindset. They don't have to second guess the way they look anymore because it fits right, it looks right, and
Yeah.
whatever color combination. And that's what we were able to do with him. And I never knew I could do that, you
Mm.
know. And he's my number one prime example
Yeah.
of a person that I like to call it we created. I didn't create him, but
Yeah, I
you
love
know,
it.
yeah.
So, Bernie, what's your biggest learning as a business owner?
You cannot do it all.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, you cannot do it all. As an owner, you have to have a team of dedicated people that are part of your journey, that understand your journey, and trust them, you know, and then stop the micromanagement of things and go with it, you know, trust in your spirit that you have the right people around you,
Yeah,
and send the positive energy out there. Yes.
that's awesome. I love it. So, we know that business success doesn't happen in isolation. So, tell us about your biggest challenge during the years and maybe somebody who came alongside you and helped you through
Yeah. Wow, accounting. Who likes to keep up with the numbers, you
it.
know? Being a creative person, I
Mm,
hate numbers, you
yeah,
know, although I had the other side of me of keeping micromanaging and things like that by being a trained engineer.
yeah,
But numbers is what it is, you know, and having a full-time accountant in our staff as well to kind of like help manage some of those things
yeah,
really helps.
yeah,
Really helps. And of course, uh, in fashion, you deal with a lot of legal issues as well too. Kind of like not so much legal issues, just to making sure that what you are creating is being taken seriously and managed properly as well. So
yeah.
NPR.
Hmm. Yeah. I like your last two answers is a bit of a theme. So you can't do it all on your own and focus on what you enjoy versus everything. So we,
Mm-hmm.
it's really good advice to right to make sure that you're delegating and finding experts and people who are really good at different areas of the business and
Mm-hmm.
setting them up to run it for you. There's too many folks who try to juggle all the balls and it's too overwhelming. It stops the company from being able to grow because the owner's trying to do it all themselves and some stuff they're not good at, some stuff they don't enjoy. So I really like what you're saying in terms of get that stuff off your plate and free you up to focus on what you're best at.
Yeah, like for example, Tim, you're gonna laugh at that one. Everybody know, do not let Bernie post anything on social media.
That's awesome.
I'm like, God, seriously. And then they come back, they're like, Bernie, you're not that old. but stay away from social media. You can browse through it. Don't make any comment. Don't post anything, and don't say anything. We'll figure it out for you. I was like, all right.
I love it. Hey, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, Bernie. If
Yeah.
I asked you to pick 3 people in your business owner journey that you're most grateful for them being there to help with your business's growth, who are those 3 people and how they help you?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Now you're gonna create a war. They all special to me. They're all special to me in so many different ways and shape and form. You know, my manufacturers,
Mm,
they really help me gain momentum when there was none,
mm,
and boost my confidence and creativity by finding things for me that I probably never would have time. Fabrics, for example, and things like that. They source it out for me.
yeah,
So my gosh, without them, I would have not, because those things are really, really time consuming. In
yeah.
this, they help me simplify things. And of course, Beatrice, her name is Beatrice, and I'm gonna put the word German there because that's what she is. She is German, but man, she kept me on the loop. She took care of my PR stuff, putting me out there and helping me delegating with potential clients and things like that to making sure that I stay in line with what we do.
Mm.
Gee, the third person, my gosh. My Indiana team that do what they do. They soldiers, I like to call them. You know, they believe in me and I believe in them, and it's quite a bit of from photographers to uh, stage managers, you name it. They're all there for me, and honestly, Tim, I can float with them and I never look back. That's how much I trust them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You
Yeah,
know?
very, very cool. So let's think about the next 1 to 3 years, Bernie. What's your number one priority or the challenge that you see in achieving your goals?
Wow. Um, you know, I've been running this whole thing without opening a retail space,
Mm,
you know? And part of it has to do with my clientele. They enjoy me being exclusive.
yeah, yeah,
So the dynamic is retail space or keep being exclusive, and
yes.
now that is a challenge that I'm forecasting right now, and we are praying and we are manifesting, we are imagining on how we can go about to balance them both,
Mhm.
really, because the retail industry is a magic of its own.
Yeah,
And then exclusive clients, they are extremely demanding in terms of like, it's all about me now.
yes.
I, I really don't care about your other
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
retail space. They are the king and the queens of the moment, and I had to dedicate that time for them,
Yeah,
and that's what helped me create the magic in them.
yeah,
So that's where I am right now.
yeah. I like you talked about, manifesting and envisioning it's so that skill, law of attraction, whatever, terminology folks want to call it. It's so critical and powerful in terms of, having that clarity of what the future looks like
Hmm.
and then working your way into it. And so
Exactly.
I love that you're doing that. You mentioned it earlier with your clients that you're sort of manifesting their future as well, right? When
Exactly.
you're designing, who they are and their proper wardrobe that matches who they are and who they want to become.
Yeah. May I tell you a quick
Of course.
it will be
Yeah,
short.
please.
A quick little story here in terms of the manifesting. Sarah Anthony, the state senator for Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, and I remember sitting with her, and she's like, "I would like for you to design my clothes because I'm gonna run for senator," and I'm sitting there, I'm like, at the time she was the state, she was just a state representative.
Yeah.
And I'm like choking on on myself. Of course, she didn't realize I was choking because I was like, that's a huge responsibility right now. Because and here I am, I made her some garments and things like that. Next thing you know, the whole campaign went out, and I'm looking at the pictures. I'm like, it is happening. And next thing, she won. And next thing you know, she was, at the State House delivering a speech in my clothes.
Yeah.
It did happen that fast within the 6 months.
Yeah.
And then she was also a very well caliber person. Very, I don't know how to describe it. Like on point. I don't know if you've ever seen her talking. She is magnificent to listen to.
Okay.
If there's anybody I need to learn how to speak like, I probably will copy her voice and her manner. But I'm not saying that. I'm not here to promote anybody because she's just my client. I'm not, like, seriously. You can look her up.
Yeah.
You will see what I'm talking about.
That's
And I was like, wow. At first, I was like, I had bubble in my stomach. I'm like, how am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
We did it, and that kind of person, she was literally manifesting her future right there on the couch with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want to do this. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And it happened like that.
That's
And
amazing.
she just sits, yeah, she's still the senator for Michigan, Sarah Anthony. There you go.
Very cool. Hey, last question, Bernie. Jim Rohn, an amazing business guru, one of his quotes is that we become the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So as you think about that quote, what advice would you have for business owners who are trying to do it on their own?
Don't believe in that. That's a lie. That's it. That's the most selfish lie I ever heard in my entire life, in terms of like when business owners do it on your own. That doesn't exist. We are human being. You are being human. We need the alliances of other individual to become where we are heading to. That's part of the dynamic of we are as you. That's the ultimate lie of saying that, oh, I did it on my own. No, that's not the truth.
Yeah.
That's not me, myself. I have an army of people that that I sit with, that I coach with, that I talk to, and so on, from childhood friends, you name it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
I really like how you flipped it around and said we're being human, and that involves interactions with others. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's a much needed interaction. I've seen it, people put it all the time. Oh, I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah, one of the things we hear a lot is within our community of business owners. They're like, "Hey, I thought I was the only one struggling with this thing, and thought there was something wrong with me, until I came to an event and heard other people talk about similar challenges and struggles, and it gave me a relief that I wasn't alone anymore, that, that I wasn't failing, that this is just part of the business owner journey." And folks really appreciate being able to rub shoulders with other business owners and hear that, it's just part of building a business.
Yeah, it is part of the journey, and it's nothing wrong with asking for help or asking for guidance, or be inquisitive as well about where you are and where you want to go as well.
Yeah, great advice. I love it. So, Bernie, it sounds like you've been blessed with some incredible people in your business owner journey. If they were all here on the show today, what would you want to say to them?
Oh, wow. Um, Thank you for dealing with me. Oh my God. Oh Thank you for being patient. Thank you for being a great listener. Thank you for um not being stubborn, and also thank you for being stubborn as well too. You know, in challenging me to be a better person in my journey, you know, because there's a lot of time I thought that was the right thing to do, and they teach me, they take things on their under their own wing, you know, and that doesn't matter the age group that they are in, or men, women, and things like that. So yeah, yeah, thank you. That
Awesome.
was my biggest thing. Thank you.
Love it. Awesome. Bernie, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for blessing me to be in your presence with your podcast. And good luck with everything as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Self-Made is a Myth show. Please help spread this movement by liking and subscribing to our show and following us on Facebook and LinkedIn. To join our movement, go to bemadtogether.com. Okay, folks, that's a wrap. Please pay it forward and be sure to tune in next time to the Self-Made is a Myth podcast.